What are the difference in pool equipment regulation in the U.S. versus Europe and other continents? I'm going to explain this in today's video. Hi, my name is Marty Norris and I'm the International Pool Girl. I have maintained swimming pools in the state of Georgia in the United States for more than 13 years, and I share what I have learned with you. If you find this information helpful, please make sure to like or subscribe to the International Pool Girl on our YouTube channel. Please make sure to leave an actual comments as it helps us with the search engine algorithm. Pool equipment in Europe versus the United States, a regulatory comparison. Now, pool pumps are one of the most energy-intensive components of residential and commercial swimming pools. While both Europe and the United States have moved towards higher efficiency standards, their regulatory approaches differ significantly in structure, speed, and philosophy. The regulatory requirements in the United States are governed by the Department of Energy. They mandate the guidelines for pool pumps. The guidelines are first published, and then the date to comply for the individual states is provided. Now, there aren't federal inspectors out checking to see that the installed pool pumps meet the required federal mandates. However, the vendors who sell the pool pumps at local suppliers and online generally only are going to sell pumps that meet the required federal mandates. As someone who works in the pool industry, we do see pool pumps that are more than 15 years old still working that don't meet the guidelines. But because the pumps were installed before the mandates were published by the federal government, then the pump, if it is still working, doesn't have to be changed. In the United States, the individual states can mandate stricter requirements, but the laws of each state cannot be below the standard of the federal government. Now, in Europe, there are broader eco-design frameworks, and this would be for all the EU-wide countries with flexibility for member states and alignment with overall energy labeling systems. The EU would be similar to the federal government in the US. There are recommendations made that members of the EU must follow with dates that the individual states or countries should comply with. After a certain time frame, the only pumps and filters available for sale are those that would comply with the EU standards. Now, the differences in the US, the government tends to mandate equipment more quickly due to the framework of the system. Also in the US, we are a very litigious society, so people want to avoid lawsuits. The EU, on the other hand, tends to recommend specific technologies and then let the market dictate how this will develop. If there is a demand for a specific technology, then the market will adapt. Efficiency mandates in the US. The US regulates pool pumps under the Department of Energy, and this is called the Dedicated Purpose Pool Pump, DPPP rules, part of federal energy conservation laws. In 2021, the first nationwide federal efficiency standards began to be enforced. Now, my spouse who does the installs of the equipment would have more specific knowledge on what this looked like. I am, however, aware of federal efficiency standards as it pertains to pool equipment and swimming pool drain covers. If you are seeking to do good work in the swimming pool field, then you will come into contact with the codes and regulations on a daily basis. More recently, and now effective by the end of 2027, the federal government tightened efficiency standards even further. Now, as we work only in Georgia, I'm only aware of specific Georgia laws. When we discuss any type of regulations governing pool equipment, it is usually the federal mandates. Now, equipment requirements for pumps sold in the US must meet minimum efficiency scores based on size and type. This is called the WEF, or the weighted efficiency factor. This may not be something that is commonly known unless you are in the business of manufacturing pool pumps for sale in the United States. The pumps that we currently install are not lightweight, but they weigh less than some of the previous pumps that we have installed. We only install variable speed pumps. They are much more energy efficient than single speed pumps. And due to new federal regulations, single speed pumps have been effectively eliminated due to their inefficient designs. We don't install pool pumps that are less than 1 horsepower. Pumps that are sold in the U.S. must meet certain energy efficiency requirements. This also matters because pool pumps can be a single-family home's second largest expense for energy after heater and air conditioners. For more than 15 years, we have marketed variable speed pumps to our customers, knowing that they can recoup the higher cost within the first year of use. The better pool pumps have been focused for many years on being energy efficient and cutting the cost of the electrical bill of the owner. We only sell and install variable speed pumps. Now, manufacturers must comply with the federal requirements on energy efficiency or they can't market their products in the United States. Pool pumps are also marketed with what's called the Energy Star for Energy Efficiency seal of approval, which is common with other household appliances. Now, with European regulations, unlike the US, Europe does not regulate pool pumps as a single highly visible category. This is due to the fact that there is a smaller market for residential pool pumps in the EU. But in order for pumps to be sold in the EU, they must meet specific energy efficiency requirements that also apply to household appliances. The European Union, the European regulations focus on entire system efficiency, pump, motor, and hydraulics. And the EU regulations encourage variable speed and inverter-driven pumps. But due to the EU regulations, they often indirectly put the emphasis on carbon reduction, life cycle energy consumption, and noise reduction. Now, Canada is currently being seen as a bridge between the US and the EU, and Canada is moving toward alignment with the US standards and the Department of Energy standards. This shows how influential the US framework in North America is. Now, the US has led the world in the adoption of variable speed pool pumps, and these regulations directly reshape the type of pool equipment that is sold. Depending on the political party in power, the goal is to make sure that the rules for manufacturers are easy to understand and comply with. In Europe, as a contrast, the EU leads in holistic efficiency design. Their products have strong integration with smart energy systems and renewable energy strategies. And the goal of the EU is to make less disruptive transitions for manufacturers when making any changes on the new equipment that they are marketing. In the US, the focus is on safety and manufacturing products for sale that comply with the law. Also, pool pumps for sale are limited to government-approved energy-efficient models.